Howdy guys, this is Geocentrism Explanation coming at you again from down under. It's been a pretty big week in Flat Earth. I've seen a lot of new videos come out and basically just a little look at some of the dumb shit these people comment, then a quick little debunk, and then a nice video of a weather balloon floating really high above the Earth, and as you'll see there's no curve. Alright, cool. So, dumb thing number one is I'm going on an around the world trip. I'll take the photos to prove it. Alright. Cool, bro. Um, cool. So, let's have a look at the flat earth. So now let's pretend we're in, I would say Australia, but maybe we'll go North America. So pretend we're at North America, we're on the west coast. Now clearly the north, if we've got a compass, north is going to be that center point. Um, so our compass, if we're standing on the west coast and we look out to sea, that's where our compass is going to be pointing west. So now we get in a plane and we go west and we keep traveling west, and where we're going to end up, if you just like move your finger along, you're going to come all the way to Australia. So there you go. Now if we just keep going west, and you see that line that runs along like in a circle, let's just keep following that line. So now we get over to the western side of Australia. We'll go across the what ocean is that? The Indian Ocean. We go across that all the way. We come through to Madagascar. We come down to the southern tip of Africa. Sorry, through center of Africa. We keep going. We keep following that line along, and then we back at west coast of USA. So you've just gone around the world. Uh, so by you going around the world doesn't prove we live on a globe. Alright, dumb thing number two. Spend a couple of minutes in the books or in the internet and you will find answers. Just because you don't know doesn't mean it's not true. If a sun was hovering over the flat earth surface, you would never lose it out of sight. LOL. And, starting the sentence with and, why you don't feel the earth spin? Because you can't feel speed, only acceleration. Earth is rotating at a constant speed, and why would a helicopter hovering over the earth would have to move? Well, the answer is inertia. Check it out on the internets. Right. Um, so it is a little hard to follow his argument because his English isn't the best, but that's okay. It's probably written by like maybe an English second language. But one thing I always notice is like the throwing out of Einstein's theories of relativity, like we can only feel acceleration, we can't feel motion, and also like Newton's laws are always in play. Um, which is cool. I'm not here to debunk that. But first of all, I want to address what he says about the sun. Um, well, then, why can't we see a light? Uh, if we're like in out at sea, why can't we see a lighthouse that's 30 miles away? And before you say it's the curvature, just know that you can actually see a lighthouse 90 miles away on clear conditions. It's the Isle of Wight. I would be more inclined to say that the sun is like a spotlight on the flat earth, and the reason we can't see it is just because it moves really far away. Just picture a dark room, and then on the floor, you shine a torch on that floor. Clearly, not all the floor is going to be lit up, but there is going to be a spot on the floor which is lit up, and that I would say to you is the daytime, while the rest of the earth is in darkness. Okay, let's move on to the next thing he says in that comment. The videos from Chinese and Japanese space agencies look artificial, but I would look for the origins of these videos. There may as well be animations created to decorate a web page. Some of the games have a better animation of Earth's surface, so you think that if someone wanted to forge that, they would hire someone better. Um, I would say, why is it that in 2016 we can't find a real image, high definition of the Earth? Why is it so hard? I don't know. You kind of digressed a little bit talking about game animations and all that sort of jazz. But yeah, I mean, our point is still valid. You know, our valid point is every fucking image is computer generated. Alright, this one is a bloody trippy one. So he goes to say, this is easy to disprove since all flat earth theories are based upon an inverted hemispherical approach. Okay, so what he's saying, a hemisphere is basically a sphere chopped in half. So you imagine the globe Earth, you slice it down the middle, and you've got a hemisphere. Um, but the problem is that's not the flat Earth model, because on this hemisphere of a globe Earth, you're still going to have the continents wrapping around the sphere, wrapping around, whereas we say the hemisphere model is more like you've got the constellations, you've got the sun in that top sphere or the firmament, but the land masses and the continents and the oceans are on a disk at the bottom. So the hemisphere is more like the enclosing, it's the lid, would be a more accurate thing to say. It's not a hemisphere model though. That's inaccurate what he's saying. But I have noticed a lot of these globe earthers will bring out a lot of like these complicated terms to try and back up their weird reasoning. But I mean, we can pretty much conclude that everything is kind of nonsense now because he's using a completely wrong model to try and disprove us. So a good analogy would be like you try and say and the fundamental workings of an engine can't work because you're using inverted cogs, when clearly an engine uses regular cogs, so it's just kind of weird. But the second thing he says is, consider the Arctic Circle where the sun does not set for 24 hours in December. This is completely impossible with a flat Earth and a spotlight sun. No, it isn't. It's actually entirely possible because if we look again at our flat Earth model of the disk with the sun, with the North Pole in the center, what actually happens is the sun changes its path as the seasons change. So in the northern hemisphere, in June, July, August, when it's summer for them, the sun is going to be moving in a circular direction around the North Pole. And therefore it's going to constantly be sunlight. We're gonna have this long periods of daylight for the center. Now I saw this really awesome video, and it actually proves that we are on a flat Earth, because what happens is you can see a full 360-degree rotation of the sun. Um, it was filmed high up. It wasn't quite in the North Pole, but it was very high up. It was very north, sorry, I should say. Height is only a relative term, but it was filmed very close to the North Pole, and you could clearly see the sun doing full 360s in the sky and never actually setting. Um, and that right there would not happen on a globe Earth. The sun would actually move from left to right, left to right, left to right. The only reason we're getting a full 360-degree rotation is because the sun is moving in circles above the North Pole. I'll put a link. I'll put a video link on here for that video because it's really well articulated and it's really well done. And if you can actually, if you're a ball earther and you're just like, this guy's full of shit, you know, he doesn't know what he's talking about, please just go away and watch that video. Because then if you understand what's going on, you'll jerry and you'll go, holy shit, we're being lied to. But yeah, getting back on point, I've really digressed a little bit. Getting back on point, the Arctic Circle, 24 hours of sun it's not. Yeah, look, it's not. It doesn't prove a flat Earth at all. Disprove a flat Earth at all. It actually promotes flat Earth theory if you do a little bit of critical thinking and think about these heavenly bodies and how they move. And another thing I'd say to that is, why don't we get really long monthly periods of sunlight in the summer months? Let's just say southern tip of New Zealand, southern tip of Argentina. Go Google longest days. Go have a Google search of the longest day in Argentina, and then go Google search the longest day in Greenland and northern Russia, and you'll see huge differences. Uh, this difference can be explained on a flat Earth, can't be explained on a globe Earth. So I don't know. These globe Earthers don't really do much thinking. They quote these things, and there you go. So that's another silly thing these Earthers say. Let's move on to the next one. Another really poorly written comment. Basically saying explorers would fall off the planet if it was flat. Fucking hell. Go do some research before you comment. I've got nothing to say to that. You know why you won't fall off the flat Earth. If you don't know, go research the flat Earth before you comment. That's all I got to say for this one. This one's just, yeah, poor English, poor points, just typical. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of everything for me today. Have a good one, guys, and enjoy this footage.